Most people experience emotions like waves, building, peaking, and then receding. Mine, as a narcissist, more like a light switch, on then off. This is one of the places that has caused a lot of confusion and discord in life, because what I've learned is that as a narcissist, my emotional responses operate much differently than the normie emotional responses. So where like I may experience emotions now, I don't the same as regular people necessarily, particularly empathic responses, but even things like anger or happiness or sadness, while the emotion may look different and I may experience it differently the whole time, one of the big differences is that I have the emotion and then move through it really quickly, and that's a common thing with narcissists in particular. Some of the emotions maybe not as much as others, but that's what happens. And so a lot of times when I have a shared experience with somebody that causes an emotional response, I'm done with it after 5 minutes, and they're still processing it a week later. And this has caused a lot of discord between us, or confusion, because I'm like, well, what the heck? Like, why aren't you just over that yet? Because for me, naturally, I am over it already. Like, I've moved on, where they're still processing it. So for a lot of my life, I used to really judge people for this, because I'm like, they're all just freaking dramatic. And even still, as I've been going through this journey of uncovering or awakening my empathy and other emotional responses, feelings, having more feelings as I'm on this journey, I look at other people I know who are very emotional, and still it's hard to not judge them at least a little bit, or think, maybe not judge them as much as just think, gosh, I don't know about this whole feeling thing because it looks terrible sometimes. It's like they're consumed by these emotions, and those emotions dictate their thoughts and how they operate and what they say and how much energy they have in the day and whether they sleep or not. And it's like I don't deal with those things on any kind of regular basis. So, like, another example is, or if I have like a disagreement, like, previously, I think I've mentioned, my ex-wife, and we were married for quite a while. And, there would be times where she might bring up something that was still bothering her from like a week ago. And for me, it's like hard to even remember what she's talking about. Now, like, of course, if it was a conversation, I can remember that it happened, but because I turn that emotion off, or finish with that emotion so quickly, I can just, like, I'm often not as attached to it. So I have to like rehash it. Like, okay, what was said? What was the disagreement about? What are you still looking for from me? And that, that can be tough for both of us. And for me, as the narcissist, what that would often do is cause me to walk around, and I think I mentioned this in another previous recent video, feeling like the boot's about to drop, because all these other people in my life would have these emotional things happen, interacting with me or not interacting with me. And then, like, it would seem like a long time later, sometimes later that day, sometimes the next day, sometimes a week later, would bring it back up as if it was unresolved. And because I'd already moved on, it didn't even make sense to me. But because I didn't know that I was a narcissist and my brain worked differently, I was always trying to fit in, make it seem like I wasn't weird or abnormal. And so I would constantly be worried, especially with certain people who seem to have that experience more or express it more to me, that at any moment, out of nowhere, like seemingly nowhere to me, they were going to bring up some emotionally charged thing. And then I was suddenly going to have to start a tap dance to perform so they wouldn't think, something's weird about me. Now, a lot less of that boot, because I've discovered this is how it works. And so now I can just say, oh, I see that's still bothering you. Totally understandable. It's not bothering me anymore. I moved on quickly, but that's just how my brain works. So if we need to discuss it more, we can do that. But it's going to take me a little bit to kind of get back into that feeling state, and I might not even arrive there with you. So much better to handle the things as quick as possible. And if not, we can figure it out together. So quick emotional response isn't a bug. It's actually a feature. And here's why. Because for me, and I imagine many narcissists are similar, where in like stressful situations or like emergency situations, crisis, we can move really quickly because we don't get bogged down or tied down by those emotional responses in the same way. And so we're quick to act. We can go into the rational, logical, strategic mind easily and quickly because we spend a lot more time there and respond quickly. So, I mean, probably if you think about it, narcissists make good emergency responders in a certain sense because we don't get thrown off by big emotional situations. So, the light switch, the on off of the emotional processing of the narcissist, might not make sense to other people, but it's really just part of how we navigate the world. Remember, subscribe, thumbs up, give some comments below. I'd love to interact with you guys. Questions? Does this make sense to you? Do you experience it the same way? Do you experience it differently? Also, if you want to throw comments in there of things you'd be interested in, topics for me to cover, or ideas or thoughts or different, whatever, as a narcissist who's on this journey of uncovering myself, please put those in the comments because I love to know what you guys are wanting so I can tailor my content for that. It also is really stimulating in terms of just expanding my own adventure through this uncovery of myself and how life really works as a narcissist. All right. There's also going to be a link below for a free ebook I wrote that's 10 Confessions of a Covert Narcissist. It's free, so you can find that link below. Check it out. And otherwise, I'll see you next time.